So in the last video, we looked at at. Okay, remember at is a preposition of place. And what we talked about in the last video is that we use at for general location, correct? General location. For example, I said at the school, correct? Or I will meet my friends at the cinema, for example. Okay, and we also used it for specific time. Specific time. Okay, remember we said at 6 o'clock, or I work at 1:30, or even at noon, I eat lunch. Okay, different things like that. And we also use it for addresses, correct? For your address, where you live, or where buildings are, addresses. So I live at 41 Main Street. Okay. She works at 78 Plaza Road, for example. Okay. So in this class, I want to look a little bit more specifically. Okay, a little bit more specifically at. Okay. And one of the ways we use at is we also use at for open spaces. Okay, open spaces. Okay, open spaces. And when I say open spaces, I mean very open. So we could say at the stadium, correct? Not all stadiums are open, of course, but if it is, it's very big, it's very open, correct? Or even at the park. At the park, because the park is very big, correct? It's very open and big. Okay, so that's one more way we use it. And we use it for large places too, not just open places, but large places. Large places. Okay. So I think one of the biggest places I can think of is at the Mall of America. The Mall of America. So the Mall of America, I believe, is the biggest mall in the world. I know it was. I'm not sure if it still is. But at the Mall of America, correct? So it's a very large place. Very large. Okay, so that's one way we use at. Now we also use at for institutions. Institutions. Many T's in that word, institutions. Okay, so you could say Mary is at school with John, for example. Mary is at school with John. Okay, so we say Mary is at school with John, correct? Mary is at school with John. Okay, because the school is an institution. Okay. Or maybe I can say I need to visit my grandmother at, let me move it down a little, at the hospital. At the hospital. Okay, I need to visit my grandmother at the hospital. We say at because the hospital or hospital is an institution, correct? At the hospital. Alright. So we also use at for home. Home. Okay, home. Very simple, home. So, for example, now I can say she is working. She is working at home. Correct? She's working at home. Now, remember, home and house are similar, but home is more personal. Home has has more feelings attached to it. So we say at home, but we say in the house, for example. But yes, she is working at home. Okay, now something that's kind of similar to home, but not as comfortable maybe, is work. Okay, so we also use it for work. So for example, say, let's see, they need to be at work. Okay, they need to be at work at, I'll write it down here, 9 o'clock. Okay, they need to be at work at 9 o'clock. So in this one we're using two ats actually. So one of them is at work, and the second one is at 9 o'clock, correct? Because remember in the previous one, we use at for time. So we need to be at work at 9 o'clock. Okay, so a sentence there where we use a couple examples. Now we also use it for the computer. Okay, for the computer. Now sometimes with the computer we use on, but I believe normally we would say at. So I can say, I am making this video at my computer. Okay, I am making this video at my computer. So I'm saying at and then my computer. Alright, I'm making this video at my computer. Alright, so hopefully that will give you a little better idea of some specific cases where we use at. Okay, I'll leave you there, and if you have any questions, please ask in the comments.